You're listening to Crystal and Emily on Love Your Shelf, the best librarian podcast in the extensive and highly competitive field of librarian podcasts.
Yeah.
Let's kick off episode 11. And this one is going to start off and it's going to sound very serious, but we're going to end on a lighter note. So, or at least that's my plan. We'll see what you have to.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know what to expect right now.
Like to toss a wrench in there every once in a while.
Yeah, keep me on my toes.
So the first book that I read this week, it was on fascism.
I thought you were going to say fashion, and those are very different things.
Yes, that fashion is very serious for me, but
Right.
So it's called On Fascism: 12 Lessons from American History by Matthew C. McWilliams, and it was I'm not going to say I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I don't enjoy fascists.
I was about to say it's tough to enjoy that.
Yeah, but it was a very good history, and it he does tie all of these things together, these historical events and how they relate to our current state of the world, and I would recommend it for any history buff, or anybody who does want to understand, like, sort of like I said, how we got to where we are now, and whether you agree with the way that some people use that term. I think that we can all still agree on these historical facts, and then of course there's the interpretation by the author of how they connect together and that kind of thing. So yes, so there was that. So after that, I wanted to sort of stay maybe on that sort of hard edge, I was feeling very hear me roar, So I found this book called Single That: Dispelling the Top 10 Myths of the Single Woman.
Oh my goodness. We were just talking about this.
Exactly. The author is Akamia Deadweiler, which is
great name.
A wonderful name. But I did not enjoy this book.
Oh no.
No, I did not feel like roaring or anything. I just sort of shut the book and walked away from it.
Like no reaction at all?
Well, not really, no. It was really very personal to her experience.
Okay, I was about to ask what the angle was.
Yeah, and so it was like, so when this happened to me, and it wasn't, you can't say that your personal experience is representative of all.
Absolutely not. Right.
So yeah, I was disappointed by that one.
Make it a memoir rather than like a, I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not a how-to, it's a memoir or something.
It felt like maybe her editor steered her the wrong way. Or something. Because she was very, very clearly writing like a very personal thing.
Sure.
And then it was just had this title.
So, oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty misleading.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe she has other things that are great. Not, judging her. And it wasn't that it was bad. It just wasn't what I was looking for, I guess.
Right.
So then
I think you should write the one that we're both imagining.
I do too. And I don't think anybody's ready for that version. Let me just say that.
Buckle up.
The world is not ready for it. So then I went way outside of, way far away from that whole path that I was on. And I discovered that Deborah Harkness, who I talked about with Jessica Sowell on episode 5, I think. She wrote The Discovery of Witches, or A Discovery of Witches. And she has another book that neither of us, I asked Jessica about it. She didn't know about it either. It's called Times Convert. And it's like a separate volume outside of the trilogy that she wrote.
Oh, cool.
So I was like, this book has been in the library. I didn't even know it was here.
Snuck right
And
past you.
yeah, for months. So I snacked it up, and I told Jessica that I was going to read it, and it wasn't bad. It was part of it. You know, it tells the story of the same characters. You know, sort of like a different perspective, a little bit. Um, but it felt a little pandering, maybe a little rushed. Like I got to get something about these characters out there while they're
Yeah.
clamoring for
Again,
something
maybe
else.
someone's editor was
Yeah,
emailing them furiously.
I can picture it for sure. So I mean, I finished it. I read it. It was good.
Okay.
Um, then I picked up Is This Anything by Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's like it's broken into decades, like 70s, 80s, 90s, and on. And then it's like him giving a little bit of a spiel about his like starting in stand up, and then what, kind of sets up the context. And then he just like writes his jokes that he's told
Oh.
in those different eras. And it's
Was
pretty
it
good.
good? Okay.
Yes.
I was like, oh, wait, I hope it's
Gotta
good.
be good. No, it was good because you can hear him telling those jokes.
Yes,
He has such a strong voice.
I appreciate a strong voice so much.
Yeah, because if you read them just like without thinking about it with his like delivery,
Uh-huh.
they sometimes on the page they're not very funny. But then you have
No,
to
of course not.
picture,
I mean,
him.
I think I've talked about, like, I remember watching Seinfeld as a kid and my mom cracking up at the jokes, and I was like, what are you talking about? He's just observing something that I see all the time. And it's something you have to grow up and learn to appreciate a good strong voice.
Yeah, and it's funny because like in the first section, he's in the 70s, because he started stand up when he was like, I don't know, 20 or something.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so his jokes are about like his mom and his dad,
Uh-huh.
and like, so what about when your dad does this? And it's pretty adorable.
Oh, I was about to say that's so cute.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So I did start another book. I haven't finished it, but I guess I'll go ahead and mention it because it's pretty interesting. It's called Interlibrary Loan
Nice.
by Gene Wolfe. And it's actually the second in a series, and I haven't read the first one, but it was an advanced copy, so I just
Mm-hmm.
said I'm going to listen to it, or I want to read
It just follows a book on its journey
it.
through an interlibrary loan.
Right.
From
Well,
the book's point of view.
right. It's actually pretty cool. It's about this. It's hundreds of years in the future, and so civilization's very different, and there
Mm-hmm.
are clones and robots.
Uh-huh.
And so the main character is a clone of a mystery writer who's deceased.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes. And he lives in a library. So
Cool.
he is the interlibrary loan in the book.
Oh my
He's being
gosh.
loaned from one library to another.
What a great idea.
Yeah. So it's intriguing, and I'm only about a third of the way through, but yeah, I'm sticking with it because I want to see where he's going to take this.
Yeah, yeah. That's great.
Yeah. So what about you? What are you reading?
Well, okay, last week I said I was gonna start it's a juvenile novel called Rat Rule 79, and the summary was super wacky. I don't know, honestly, I was a little bit like, what am I getting into? But it has been so delightful. I'm maybe a quarter of the way through. I'm a pretty slow reader. But it's really fun, it's funny. The voice, the talking about a strong voice, the voice kind of reminds me of Lemony Snicket a little bit.
Mm.
And I was thinking that, and then I noticed that he had like put a little blurb on the book saying how much he
Oh.
loved it, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. It's just, yeah, really silly, off the wall, like you have no idea what's going to happen next. But it's really sweet. Like, one of the characters is the elephant in the room, and it's an elephant. So yeah, I'll keep you posted as I make my way through it. But so far, I'm really pleased. It's really sweet.
Oh, okay.
So that's, yeah, Rat Rule 79 by Rivka Galchen. Um, yeah, that's all I'm reading at the moment. But are we moving? Should I move on to what I've been watching?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So, here is my true crime spiel real quick. On HBO, they made a series out of the book I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara.
Yes.
So now they've made a documentary series and it's really good. So yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Michelle McNamara was a true crime writer. She was married to the comedian Patton Oswalt, and she died really suddenly a couple of years ago, I would say.
In her sleep,
But
didn't she?
in her sleep, yeah, I think it was like a heart condition or something, which is horrifying.
Mm.
Um, and I love. I mean, again, I think this is the show about voices this week. Because I loved her voice in the book, and it's really good to be able to like literally hear her voice and see her in the documentary series. She just seemed like such a cool, smart person. Yeah, rest in peace, Michelle McNamara, and I really recommend this documentary series. And yeah, on a personal note, like I got way too much glee out of this. They had the Golden State Killers hearing where he pled guilty
Yeah.
on the day that I got engaged, and I'll remember that forever. um
It,
anyway, moving on to something lighter. I they so Hulu just put out a movie called Palm Springs. Andy Samberg is in it. He's one of the leads, and I cannot remember the lead woman's name. But for anyone who has seen Modern Love, which I know you have, Crystal, she is the woman in the first episode about the girl who gets pregnant and is really close to the man. I can't think
oh,
of words
yeah.
now. The man in her building, her apartment
Yeah.
building.
Is it Kristen Milioti? Is that her name?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, that last name
Yeah.
seems familiar. Okay, thank you. It's so the movie is, I didn't really know. I really like Andy Samberg. I always have. He was on Saturday Night Live when I was in high school, so I've always had a soft spot for him. But I wasn't totally sure what I was getting into just because I knew it's basically a Groundhog Day situation, like a spin on living the same day over and over again, but it focuses more on like we are actually living this day over and over again, and sort of, I don't know, there's some darkness to it. But I laughed a lot, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's silly, it's a little bit crude at times, but I had a lot of fun watching it, and I mean that. It was fun.
Yeah, I put that on my list after you recommended it because I didn't know what to think about it. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when you come across, like, you just see not even the preview, you just see like the poster for something,
Yeah.
and it doesn't look good. Their poster
I
for that movie,
know. I know. I
and
know.
I
I was
thought,
like,
oh,
what kind of like hipster, I don't know, like angsty movie is this going to be,
right,
kind of.
exactly. So
And
yeah,
I hope that, because like I said, I went into it a little bit apprehensive, and was pleasantly surprised. So I hope that my recommendation doesn't, you know, give somebody super high expectations. But yeah, it was really funny.
no, I think it looks good. I'm looking forward to watching that over the weekend.
Okay, cool. That's
I
what I've got.
I want to
Let's hear what
go.
you've been watching.
Yeah, I want to go back to I'll Be Gone in the Dark because I watched it. I watched the first two episodes.
Ooh,
Is there a third episode out yet?
the third one came out this last Sunday.
Okay, so I
Hmm.
thought, and I was like, I watched the first two, and then I got creeped out because I
Yeah.
was watching it late at night, by myself, and I was like, I'd like to sleep, so I'm gonna switch to
Yeah.
something
I mean,
else.
it's because it's a case that involves, this man waking people up in their
Yes,
homes.
yes,
So, yeah, like it was a book that I couldn't read. Nick had to be home when I was reading that book. I couldn't be home alone reading it.
yes, yeah. So I thought it was great, and I loved being able to see her and her relationship with
Hmm.
all of the people that she worked with
I
that she was
know.
researching, and because there's video of her too, which was great. It's not just after
Mm-hmm.
the fact. And I have to admit, when I first heard about the book and I read it, I didn't know much about the Golden State Killer, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought that "I'll Be Gone in the Dark" was referring to her,
Oh.
like, and that she that something
Yeah.
that, like, that she would say, or that, and it was poignant, because she died in her sleep, and it,
Right, right.
and so I thought that, and then I discovered that that's what the
Something.
Golden State Killer said to, like, you
Mm-hmm.
can, if you do that, if you try to get away, then I'll
He
basically,
says something like you'll be something and I'll be gone in the dark,
yeah,
basically saying like your life will be ruined but I
or
will be walking
over,
free.
your life will be
Yeah.
over, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Ugh. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that because it was definitely I want to second your recommendation.
Yes,
If
I
you
just
can, if
yeah.
you can handle it, then
Yeah, yeah,
definitely
no,
watch it.
definitely. Like again, make
Makes
sure
you
you're
sad.
not home alone,
Yeah,
maybe watch in the daytime
exactly.
and then follow it with something
That will make you
light and
forget about it
funny.
completely.
Exactly, exactly.
Well, my all of my viewing, I haven't even listened to anything the past week. I've been just viewing things about food.
Okay.
And I didn't
I'm
even
here for
intend to. Like, this is just what happened. And so,
it.
aside from, so while I was, watching While I'm Gone in the Dark, or I'll Be Gone in the Dark, and
Hmm.
then otherwise, well, While I'm Gone in the Dark, that's a whole different show. But I would, took a break from that and, like, watched some Bon Appetit, of course, because that's my
Hmm.
go-to. But my sister, she's been like, she'll send me messages like the Heritage Chef Show Hulu, like that's
Hmm.
the text message
Hmm.
I get.
Uh-huh.
And so I checked that out, and it's awesome. If you've ever watched Chef's Table, that's another great foodie show. It's all about chefs, and this one is like, I think it's 8 or 9 episodes. It's on Hulu, and it's new, or it's new to Hulu, at least. I think it's pretty new. And
Nice.
it's about chefs who sort of are at the forefront of what they're doing, and that most of them are doing, or all of them are doing, some form of farm to table.
Mm.
Like, even like to the extreme where they begin as farmers and then they just open a restaurant like on the farm.
Wow. Yeah,
Um,
I want to go to those restaurants.
yeah, exactly. And so it's beautiful, and it's the format is even very much like Chef's Table. It's also done very beautifully. So I would recommend both of those. Um,
Cool.
and then I watched another one that she sent me that there's a new season of, that, or a season I hadn't seen. It's a little show called Worth It. And have you seen this?
I was about to say I've heard. Why do I know that name?
It
Tell
is
me.
it's a show about these two guys, and they travel to like a different city, or even different country. Like, one this season they were in Thailand for part of it, and they like pick a dish, like a fried chicken sandwich, and then they have a
Oh,
cheap
the
one and a
prices.
mid-range
Yes,
one.
I
Yeah,
have seen this.
yes. And so, but there's a new season, like 6 more episodes that are new, that just came out fairly recently.
Oh, fun. And sorry, I kind of talked over while you were saying what it's about.
No, that's, yeah. It's just, there's like, they find a dish, and then they go taste 3 different price points. Like, in some of them, it's extreme. Like they'll go
Yeah.
have the dollar version of it, and then the $2,000 version of it,
Yeah.
and then they vote on, which is the best, or which is worth it,
Mm-hmm.
the most worth it. And so it's really cute. They have a really cute dynamic, which I think is
They
adorable.
do.
And they go to fun places, and it's amazing, like, the difference. And many, many times, they'll the one that they find is worth it is the cheapest one.
Oh, which I love
Yeah, and I mean,
because obviously that's my price point.
exactly. I want the cheap stuff. Um, but but you can, like, if it's made with love or made with good ingredients, it can be just as good as the expensive stuff. So, you know, it's,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. Um,
I need to watch those new episodes. That's good to know.
yeah. Well, then, because I had watched that, I guess it suggested, you know, the computer suggested to me
Mm-hmm.
a show called Day of Gluttony,
Uh-huh.
which,
I'm listening.
exactly. And it's these two guys, Harry and Bruce.
Bruce Bruce?
Bruce.
Oh my gosh.
They are also adorable and have a cute little relationship with each other. Like, they're a little more bro-y, though.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. But also just can I like Harry and Bruce should be the name of a children's book.
I bet we could tell them, hey, you guys, put this in the format of a children's book and call it
Yeah.
Harry and Bruce, and you'll
Yes.
get readers. I
Adorable.
bet they would be down for it.
Yes.
So what they do is they start out there in San Francisco, and then they go to different cities. I think this was actually was recorded like several years ago, and then it was just one season. So there's no more to be coming from this unless they revive it, because it's like another one of those it's new to Hulu things.
Uh-huh.
And so it was a web series, I guess. But they go to 24 places in a day.
Oh my gosh.
And they go to breakfast, and they go to like six different places for breakfast. And they
take
like
one bite at each place?
No,
because
they don't eat individual meals, but they like share meals at these places.
Still, oh my goodness.
Yes. Now some places
I love to eat, and that's a lot.
I was afraid I wouldn't be able to watch it because it was going to make me sick, but because I like the whole overeating thing. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
Yeah, I don't want to watch that, but
yeah, and they're like, and you know, anyway, you should just take a look at it, because
I totally will.
They're like fit guys. It's not like they're like, you know, just slobs that are just like eating everything.
Yeah, I do this every day.
Exactly. And then watch my shame, you know. Don't look away. But no, so some of the places that they go to, like they'll go to a juice bar, or they'll go to get coffee, or they'll, you know, so it's not just like food the whole time.
Right.
But it is really cute, and
cool.
they go to San Francisco. One of them is Austin, which I thought
fun.
cool, and so I had been to, you know, a couple of places that they go to.
I want to see what I recognize.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really cute. And it's only, like I said, they're short episodes. There's only 9 of them. So
nice. That's something I can get through in an afternoon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
My day of television.
And then I had been somebody else, Lisa on staff, had said that she'd watched this show called Crazy Delicious, and I was intrigued, so I checked it out. It's on Netflix. Crazy is not a strong enough word.
Oh my goodness.
It is a show about these chefs who are supposed to make the most like outrageous reimagining of whatever it is that they can. And so, I think it's the first episode, they're supposed to reimagine pizza.
Okay.
Which, yeah, you know, like, okay, how are you going to do that? Because how many people have tried to do that, right? You know. First of all, before I get to what they came up with, the judges are these 3 well-known chefs. And they're all in white. And I missed this. Like, I wasn't paying much attention in the first episode. And then on the second episode, I was like, whoa, what's happening? Because they're styled as gods that are like bestowing these ingredients on the contestant. Yeah,
if you missed that, I can imagine that'd be pretty confusing.
I just thought, okay, maybe I switched this with Bong Appetit or whatever.
Right.
We got confused. But so then they have this, like, it's beautifully decorated and styled. I could see why Lisa was into it.
Cool.
So there's like this beautiful like Garden of Eden type space where they go to pull the like pluck their vegetables out of these
Uh-huh.
like wildly colored trees and gardens and stuff. It's just
Wow.
it's insane. It is truly bonkers.
Well, and
So
I mean, there are so many food shows.
yeah, you got to
You've
set
got to,
yourself
yeah,
apart.
you have to make it stand out.
I
So
don't know if
that's
I'm going
cool.
to continue to watch it.
But I
Be-
applaud.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
just watching the chefs go in and like pull their carrots out of these like crazy Alice in Wonderland looking gardens.
Oh my gosh.
It's very strange. But so this one guy reimagines pizza as a volcano,
Oh,
and he mixes like charcoal powder into his dough so it's black,
uh-huh.
and he makes it into balls that are filled with like cheese and pepperoni or whatever, and
Uh-huh.
then he makes the pizza sauce into the lava running down this volcano built out of these black
All
pizza balls.
right.
It is amazing, and you can tell the judges are like, this is going to be disgusting, and they found it delicious and they loved it, and then
Cool. Okay, well, I
yeah,
do love a surprise.
but I've ruined it for you, so I'm sorry. But just that's just to give you a little taste about what have in
Yeah.
store for you if you try this show.
Well, I'm interested in watching at least one episode. So,
So then the last thing I'll mention is yet another food show. I was really in the zone,
please.
and it's a show by Roy Choi, the chef,
Hmm.
and he's done several different shows, and it's called Broken Bread, and I think it's another one. I think it was on PBS when it first aired,
Hmm.
and it's in Los Angeles. It's about chefs who are doing something to make the community better.
Cool.
So like for example, there's one restaurant where the owner, employs ex-convicts and people who can't be employed elsewhere, and help
Right.
them, like gives them a leg up and stuff like that.
Aw.
And so it's another short one. There's only a few episodes, but it's really great. And all of the shows, I think, are indicative of how, and I feel this because I like to feed people at the library. That
Yeah.
food is such a way to demonstrate your love and care and appreciation for
Hmm.
people, and that it can also, in turn, in the Broken Bread show by Roy Choi,
Hmm.
it can work in the opposite direction too. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was going to say, one of our missions at the library is to build the community of Nacogdoches and bring people closer together. Yeah, food is the way to do that. So
hmm
that's great. What was
yeah,
the title again?
Broken Bread.
Broken Bread.
And so, and just to, as a wrap up, and because of that, it sort of reminded me of how bittersweet the big read is this year. So
Yeah.
it's our
Yeah.
fourth year of doing a community-wide read, and we had planned all of these amazing food-related events,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do them in the same way. We're thinking of other ways that we can do things, to include, you know, edible stuff, food
Yeah.
things, but
Yeah.
we have to be careful too. So it kind of made me sad because that had been such a big part of our big reads in the past, is bringing
Sure.
people together to share a meal and to share the reading experience, and all of those things together are, I think, those threads that help strengthen a community,
Yeah.
and you can better talk to and understand and have compassion for somebody with a full stomach.
Definitely.
So anyway, so I guess maybe that was why I was food focused this week, is I was thinking about
Yes.
that stuff. But
Yes.
anyway, I
Uh,
think I think we'll wrap up for this episode, and your going out of town, so I'm envious. So enjoy your trip.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we will see all of you listeners next time.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye. Afraid you missed one of our scintillating selections? Check out wakelet.com and you'll find a collection of all of the titles that we have mentioned on our podcast.